Stand By Me is proof that nothing bonds kids more than trauma, Saturday morning cartoons, and almost getting hit by a train. You got four boys with wildly different personalities setting out to find a dead body in the woods, and on the way, they uncover the devastating effects of male friendship. Kind of a sleigh, if you ask me. As summer hits its halfway mark, who am I to not talk about the best, and notice how I said the best and not one of the best, coming of age films of all time. The ongoing theme for August I have titled For the Boys. We are going to explore films that talk about boyhood, manhood, masculinity, what that is, the stigma and toxicity that comes with that very word. All the good stuff. There's a moment in every friendship when you realize you won't grow old together. You'll just grow. Stand By Me isn't just a movie about childhood, it's a movie about how it ends, quietly and all at once. Based directly off of Stephen King's short novel The Body, which I have read, Stand By Me is a 1986 drama directed by Rob Reiner, starring Will Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, Jerry O'Connell, and Kiefer Sutherland. On an $8 million budget, the film grossed over $52 million at the box office. I've mentioned this movie so many times across my channel. You know, even though The Breakfast Club was the film that I always claimed was the beginning when I was 14 that really got me into film, I will say that Stand By Me was my very first exposure period to what cinema is. I was I don't even know, the naive age of 7, somewhere between, I was either 7, 8, or 9. My mom, I guess she saw it in probably some little convenience store or something, and she decided to grab it and pick it up for me. Mind you, this movie is rated R, and they are dropping F-bombs left, saying every swear word under the sun. And I had no business watching this, but also that was the perfect age for me to watch this. Columbia Pictures was concerned the original title, The Body, was misleading, and according to screenwriter Reynold Gideon, it sounded like either a sex film, a bodybuilding film, or just another Stephen King horror film, end quote. Rob Reiner was the one who came up with the title Stand By Me after the Ben E. King song. Michael Jackson was even asked to do a cover of the original for the film, and Rob in the end thought the original version better suited the film. But enough yapping, grab some snacks, grab some water, maybe your lucky cone, because we're about to follow these four idiots into the woods and see how a corpse hunt turns into a coming of age crisis. The film opens in an Oregon countryside town with a truck. This is present-day Gordie. Next to him in the inside, he sees a headline titled Attorney Christopher Chambers Fatally Stabbed in Restaurant. The sight of two kids biking together down the road takes him back down memory lane. Gordie was 12 going on 13 the first time he ever saw a dead human being. It happened in the summer of 1959, and we meet Kid Gordie. He lived in a small town called Castle Rock. There were only 1,281 people, but to him it was the whole world. All the way out of town in a built treehouse, we meet more of the homies, Chris and Teddy. The chemistry and the banter of all the boys is hands down the best part about this movie. Teddy Duchamp was the craziest person they all hung around. He didn't have much going for him, and his dad one time held Teddy's ear to a stove and almost burnt it off. Then there was Chris Chambers, the leader of the gang and Gordie's best friend. He came from a bad family, and everyone just knew he would turn out bad, including Chris himself. There's a knock on the treehouse door, and we meet the final member, Vern. He's trying to catch his breath because he has news he wants to share with his brothers, and he asks the group if they can camp out tonight and just tell their folks that they're gonna tent out at his backfield. Vern has a catchphrase where he will say a sentence and then end it with sincerely. I think I'm gonna start saying that. No, sincerely.
You guys wanna go see a dead body?
At the beginning of the school year, Vern buried a jar of pennies underneath his house. He drew a treasure map so he could find them again, but a week later his mom cleaned out his room and threw the map out. Bro was looking for those pennies for 9 months. He didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Over top the porch, Vern overhears his brother Billy and his friend Charlie talk about a dead body they saw. Billy doesn't care if the kid is found or not, but Charlie is interested. A kid named Ray Brower was a kid the age of our protagonists and allegedly got hit by a train. So Charlie wants to go to the cops, but Billy reminds him that they boosted a car and the cops are going to be like, how did y'all get all the way out here in this damn car that y'all stole? So Charlie suggests an anonymous call, but Billy's like, they traced those calls, man. And this is the first time we hear about Ace, who is their gang leader, and Charlie says that they should tell him because he has a car and but Billy like, we ain't telling nobody, you dig me? Teddy knows exactly where this Harlow Road is, but it's far. Chris proposes the idea that if they find him, then they'd probably get their pictures in the paper. And Teddy's like, yeah, we would even be on TV. We'll be heroes. Vern doesn't want his brother to find out he overheard him, but after Gordie says that he'll probably get a medal, he gets on board. So the final plan is all of them tell their parents they're camping at Vern's. Vern will say he's sleeping over at Teddy's, and then the following day they'll say that they're going over to the drag races. Everybody's hooting and hollering in celebration except Gordie, who wants to share his friend's enthusiasm, but he can't. Because that summer at home, Gordie became the invisible boy. Later in the day, he yells out the window to his mom for his canteen that he can't find, and she completely ignores him, up until his dad tells him that it's in Denny's room. In April, Gordie's older brother Dennis had been killed in a Jeep accident, and though 4 months had passed, his parents still hadn't been able to put the pieces back together again. Gordie goes into his brother's untouched bedroom having flashbacks to a night that Denny gave him his baseball Yankee cap. It's so sad. You can tell that they were close. His father's at the door waking him from his memory. Loki always felt like this was like him telling him without telling him to, come on, get your ass out this room. His father is like, why can't you have friends like Denny's? All you have is a thief and 2 Phoebes.
Chris isn't a thief.
He stole the milk money at school. He's a thief in my book.
This will come back later. Put a pin in that. At noon, Gordie's walking downtown and Chris is dropped off by a stranger he hitched a ride from. He asks Gordie if he wants to see something, taking him all the way behind a diner, and pulls out a Glock. Buh! That shit better not be loaded, Christopher. He hawked it from his old man's brew, and after Gordie asks if he has any shells, he says,
Well, yes. Is it loaded? Hell no. What do you think I am? Jesus!
Chris is so f***ed up. He's like,
Gordie did it! Gordie, let's get this video down the rack!
G-Dog is pissed because he thinks the Tupper babe saw them, saying it was a mean trick, Chris. So Christopher's got to formally apologize to his homie. Gordie makes him swear not just on his mother's life, not even if his mother goes to hell because he lied, but also pinky swear. Oh shit, now it's serious. Chris's older brother Eyeball and his team leader Ace come out. Ace snatches Denny's hat and Chris calls Ace an asshole. So since he knows Chris didn't mean to insult him, he's gonna give him the opportunity of taking it back. Put the end of a cigarette on his eye. Gordie is screaming, Eyeball is laughing, and Chris takes his insult back. Oh, and by the way, after they walk off, Gordie does not get the hat back. Yeah, alright, you crazy as hell. I would have pulled out the Mickey Mouse tool. Like, huh? What is we talking about? The boys are off on their adventure and Vern is questioning why Chris has his Glock 45. Vern is like, whoa, Chris, let's not get ghetto.
Whoa, calm down, Jamal. Don't pull out the 9.
No, just kidding. Chris tells him that, they're gonna be out in the woods. They might see a bear or something. Or a trash can. And Vern brought a comb, because if they're on TV, they want to look fly, don't they? The boys stop before crossing a bridge, thinking how long it's going to be for them to get there. If they follow the tracks into Harlow, it'll be about 20 miles, maybe even 30. Vern says, why don't they just hitchhike? And Ted is like, that's pussy. While the boys march singing the Ballad of Paladin, Gordie says they need to fill up at the junkyard. Vern brings up being hungry, so who got the food? No one. Chris gets mad that Teddy decided not to bring anything, but Teddy says this was all Vern's idea, not his.
Did you think of everything? I brought the comb. Oh, great, you brought the comb. What do you need a comb for? You don't even have any hair.
You don't see this? Come on now. Like, stop playing with me. Gordie tells them all to shut the f walk up, so they sit down and count their coin. Gordie has $1.02, 68 cents from Chris, 60 cents from Teddy, and 7 sad cents from Vern, making a total of $2.37. And in 2025, that translates to $25.88. There's a convenience store Gordie mentions at the end of the road by the junkyard that they can grab some stuff from. If you're a Stephen King fan, you will be familiar with the number 237, which pops up in a lot of his work, most notably in the movie adaptation of The Shining. A train is coming and everyone moves out the way except Teddy, who says he wants to dodge it. Don't piss me off. Get your ass off these damn tracks. Chris starts screaming at Teddy to get the hell off the tracks, boy, before you kill yourself, boy! Snatching Ted and they start tussling. Chris is very much of the parental figure of the group, and you can really sense that by the way that he is screaming at him.
I'm just trying to save your life, man! You want to kill yourself? Is that what you want, goddammit? You're trying to kill yourself!
About this time, Charlie and Billy were playing mailbox baseball with Ace and Eyeball, and weak-ass Charlie is seconds away from bringing up Ray Brower until Billy stops him, and Ace is suspicious of these homos, but they tell him it's nothing. There's a man named Milo who owns the junkyard, and he has this dog who has this reputation, and his name is Chopper. Nobody has ever seen what Chopper looks like, so kids automatically think that he's some big scary Cujo grr, and legend has it that Milo not only taught Chopper how to sick, but to sick specific parts of the anatomy, if you get what I mean. The boys shoot the shit, talk about Annette's tits from the Mickey Mouse Club, and spit water at each other, wasteful, before trying to decide who should go to the store and get food. They all flip for it and the odd man goes. Gordie is the chosen one. Teddy is laughing like a damn hyena, saying, "Oh, Gordie just screwed the pooch."
Shut up.
I don't shut up.
Shut up. I grow up. And when I look at you, I throw up. And then your mother goes around the corner and she licks it up.
Gordie ate up, why lie? The clerk inside the convenience store recognizes Gordie as Denny's younger brother, saying it's a shame what happened to him before quoting the Bible and sharing that he lost a brother in Korea. Like, what you gonna say next? I remember when you were this big. Man, ring my shit up. He says Gordie looks just like Denny, and right as he's about to go into a story about memories of the all-star quarterback, Den, Gordon zooms out. Back to a night where his family was having dinner, and Pop was telling Denny there could be some scouts at this football game. Denny don't care. Gordie asks his father for the potatoes and no one answers him, and their mother asks Denny if he's gonna see Jane after the game. Gordie repeats himself, "May I please have a waffle? Can I have some mashed potatoes? Can I please have some mashed potato?" But instead of passing the taters, the father starts berating Dorothy. "Don't talk to the boy about girls. He shouldn't be thinking about girls. This is the biggest game of his life." Mama is the one to pass the potatoes. Their dad's about to tell Denny what to do for scouts until Denny cuts him off asking Pop if he read the story that Gordie wrote. Their mother asks what he wrote, and now their bitch ass father is like, "See, that's what I'm talking about. Football takes concentration. You start on the girls and his mind is all over the place.
Stop playing with me before you get beat up, bitch."
That's when Denny leans over to his younger brother and says he really liked his story. Thought it was great. Gordie comes back to reality and the clerk's asking if he plays football.
You play football?
No.
What do you do?
I don't know.
This always bugged me because what do you mean by that? Like the context of the way that he said it was like, if you're not playing football, if you're not doing sports, then what do you do? Like, huh? He's 12. Anyway, he buys hamburger meat, a roll of buns, and 4 Coca-Colas. When Gordie returns to the junkyard, all the boys are gone, and all of them are hopping over the fence. Just as Junkman Milo starts screaming for Gordie to come here, boy, and he takes off running. Milo threatens to sick his dog on him, and all the boys start screaming, "Run, nigga!"
Sick him, boy! Now he said sick 'em boy, but what I heard was Chopper sick balls.
This joker climb a 20-foot fence and drop like it's nothing. God damn. That's them 12-year-old knees for you. And when we finally see Chopper, he's just a cute furry patootie. Teddy starts teasing the dog, and by the time Milo catches up, he threatens to beat his ass. So Teddy's like, "Yeah, I'd like to see you climb over this fence and get me fat ass." "Don't you call me that, you little 10-weasel Peckerwood loony son." He knows exactly who Teddy is. The son of a loony who lives in the nut house at Togus. Milo continues trashing his father, and Teddy tells Big Back if he calls his dad a loony again, he'll kill him. Loony, loony, loony.
I'm gonna rip your head off and shit down your neck! I'm gonna kill
Vern and Chris hold him back. Chris is warning Milo, jump over here so we can beat the piss out of you and take you to the cops. You watch your mouth, smart guy. Let him do his own fighting.
Sure, you only outweighed by 500 pounds, fat ass!
And the thing is, I know damn well if they were actually face to face, or if he actually did climb that fence, all 4 of those boys would jump on his ass like white on rice. Teddy's crying because this dirty skank ranked his old man, and he apologizes to everyone if he's spoiling their good time. He's not, but the fact that he is aware, and the fact that he did that period, you get points, Teddy. Proud of you. Gordie says, though, he's not entirely sure that this should be a good time. I mean, they're all going to see a dead kid. You know, this isn't like a celebration. And Vern's like, yeah, if he's really bad, like all caught up in blood and shit all over him, I might have nightmares.
You know, like all guts and eyeballs over to jump and grab.
Shut up, come on, goddammit!
Eyeball is giving Billy a tattoo as we hear over the radio that 12-year-old Ray Brower search is still in action. Eyeball thinks they should just give up because the kid's gone and they're never gonna find him. But Charlie bets $1,000 they'll find him before his body turns into bones. And Eyeball bets $2,000 they don't. First of all, both of you are f***ing broke, so shut up. A says exactly what I just did. Shut the f*** up, because if either one of them had $2,000, he'd kill them both. And remember, they're still friends with this dude after they said that. This next scene is my number one. It's my favorite scene in the entire movie. While Teddy and Vern are singing Lollipop. Oh, wait, wrong one. You know the original one. Lollipop, lollipop. Oh, yeah. Chris and Gordie are having therapy hour.
Do you think I'm weird?
Why is he me? Chris says definitely, but Gordie's like, no man, seriously. But so what? Everybody's weird. Chris asks if he's ready for school, in which Gordie responds no, because they're going to junior high. Chris points out the reality of the situation. You know, Gordie will be in college courses while the rest of them will be in wood shop with the other, simpletons, let's say that. He tells superstar Gordie next to him he's gonna meet a lot of smart guys.
Meet a lot of pussies is what you mean.
See, no, cut that out, nephew. Cut it out, Gordie. Chris gotta put him in his place, telling him, don't say that. Don't even think that. But Gordie refuses to go with the kiddies. So fine, you're an asshole, Chris calls him. Gordie argues there's nothing a-hole about wanting to be with your friends. But it's a-hole if your friends drag you down. And if Gordie hangs with them, then he'll just be another wise guy with shit for brains. The juxtaposition of what these two are talking about versus Teddy and Vern is so interesting because the other boys are debating if Mighty Mouse could beat up Superman. It's the most, childish, blasé debate versus Chris and Gordie's discussion about their future. Oh, so good. And these next lines, this is how you do it. Chris is like, you could be a real writer someday, Gordie.
Writing. I don't want to be a writer. It's stupid. It's a stupid waste of time.
Whoa, 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 whoa. No. No, 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 no. That's just your dad talking. Bullshit. Bull true. I know how your dad feels about you. He doesn't give a shit about you. Denny was the one he cared about, and don't try to tell me different. This shuts Gordie's ass right on up. There's a few beats before Chris is like, you're just a kid, Gordie. Oh, gee, thanks, Dad. I wish the hell I was your dad. You wouldn't be going around talking about taking those stupid shop courses if I was.
It's like God gave you something, man. All those stories that you can make up. And he said, this is what we got for you, kid. Try not to lose it.
One of my favorite lines in the film. He tells Gordie that kids lose everything if there's not somebody there to look out for them.
And if your parents are too f***ed up to do it, then maybe I should.
That's what I'm talking about. This shit means something to me, man.
I think we all need a Chris Chambers in our life. That is a real friend. That is a real best friend if I have ever seen one. The boys reach a long train track they have to cross over top a river, and not gonna lie, the anxiety would have been over the roof because none of them know when the next train is due. Chris says they could go down to the 136 bridge, and Teddy's like, yeah, no, that's 5 miles down the river, and if you walk 5 miles down, you gotta walk 5 miles back. And that could take till dark. If they cross here, they can get to the same place in 10 minutes.
But if a train comes, there's nowhere to go. Just jump.
Oh, Teddy tells them all that they can go around if they want, but he's crossing here. So they march. Gordie holds his hand on the rail trying to feel if it's shaking, but nothing. Teddy leads, then Chris, then Vern, who is crawling. I would have cussed him out. And Gordie's in the back. At one point, Vern drops his lucky comb into the water, so looks like your hair is going to be a mess for television. Sorry. At the halfway mark, Gordie checks the rails again instead of just going. That is a big pet peeve of mine. Can y'all just stop looking back? Just keep going. Because guess what? There's a train coming.
Oh, shit.
They all take off. Chris and Ted make it to the edge on time, but Vern freezes in place. Like, bro, don't make me leave you here on these tracks because I'm not getting smushed like a bug because of you. I know some people freeze in fight or flight situations, but Vern, you really think that just laying here on this rail to get smushed is more logical than at least attempting to make a run for it? So when the boys are running from the train, it was actually way at the end of the trestle with the boys on the opposite end. The crew used a 600mm long focus lens that, when shot at the telephoto end, compressed the image so much that it made it look like the train was right behind them. Director Rob also yelled and screamed at them in retakes because Will Wheaton and Jerry O'Connell didn't look scared enough. That's why Vern is crying and Gordie is just scared and stressed out. They make it and jump off the track at the last second. Adrenaline junkie Teddy says that was the all-time ultimate train dodge. Dig it. After dinner, it's a full moon and the boys have a after supper. Chris tells Gordie to share one of his horror stories, and Vern's like, I don't want to hear no horror stories, man. I ain't up for that. Gordie decides to tell them all the story about a pie eating contest. The protagonist is this large kid nobody likes named Davy Hogan. Even though the kid is their age, he weighs close to 180. All the kids in the neighborhood call him Lardass, even his siblings. At school, they put a sticker on his back that says wide load, ranking him out, beating him up whenever they get a chance. But one day, Davy gets an idea. The greatest revenge a kid could ever have. The host of the pie eating contest announces all the contestants, and when Davy's on the way up, a grown man trips him to get a laugh. First of all, y'all got only a few years left, so I would be trying to get right with God if I were you. The pie eating contest begins, and Davy's in the #1 spot as the entire crowd starts chanting, Lardass, Lardass, Lardass. So when does the revenge come in? Well, right before this contest, Davy chugged an entire bottle of castor oil and swallowed a raw egg. That's some gangster shit right there. You gotta, oh. Yeah, you can literally get sick from that. Like, that is nasty. Davy's in his 5th pie, and that's when he started imagining he wasn't eating pies, but cow flops and rat guts and blueberry sauce. And slowly, a sound started to build in his stomach. And when his mouth opened, the man next to him was covered with 5 pies worth of used blueberries. The vomit mixture that they used when filming is a mixture of cottage cheese and blueberry mix. Nasty. And some of the actual crew members got sick. The women in the audience scream. Boss man Bob looks at Bill Travis and barfs on Principal Wiggins. Wiggins barfs on the lumberjack. Mayor Grundy pukes on his wife's tits. But it's when the smell hit the crowd when Davy's plan really started to work. Girlfriends puked on boyfriends. Kids puked on their parents. A fat lady puked in her purse. The Donnelly twins puked on each other. And the women's auxiliary puked all over the benevolent order of antelopes. And Davy just sat back and enjoyed what he created. A complete and total barf-orama. Later on in the night, the boys turn on the radio and chat about the things that boys discuss that seem important until they discover girls. Howling animal noises begin, and Chris pulls out the Glock before Vern suggests each of them take turns standing guard. Teddy goes first, being annoying as hell, talking out loud, acting like he's a secret agent. Vern is turning and jumping at the sound of anything, and Chris ends up being last. He goes down to the fire to move some sticks around and notices Gordie having a nightmare. In his dream, they're burying Denny when his father puts his hand on his shoulder and says,
Should have been you, Gordon.
Gordie joins his best friend by the tree, admitting he didn't cry at his brother's funeral, saying how he really misses him. When people think about Stand By Me, they think about this scene, specifically River Phoenix's performance. Like, this is the most popular in the film. And we also get more backstory with Chris and this whole milk money situation that his father brought up. Gordie entertains the idea that Chris could join him in the college courses, saying that he's smart enough, but the reality is that with Chris's family and his reputation, it's unlikely. No one even asked Chris himself if he took the milk money that time. The fact he said that time. So you did this before. He got a 3-day vacation, and after Gordie asks if he took it, he's like, hell yeah, I took it. You knew I took it. Teddy knew I took it. Everyone knew I took it. Even Vern. But maybe he was sorry and he tried to give it back. Maybe he took it to old lady Simmons and told her and the money was all there, but he still got a 3-day vacation because it never showed up. Maybe the next week old lady Simmons had this brand new skirt when she came to school, and Gordie remembers recognizing that ugly polka dot skirt. And do you think that bitch would have dared to try that on those uptown preppy boys? No. He bet she had her eye on that skirt for a long time and took her shot, calling himself stupid for even trying to give it back.
I never thought the teacher would be so anyway.
Classic River, always crying in the moonlight. You know, always crying in the moonlight at night in the woods somewhere. I go into detail a little bit about River Phoenix's life in the video I did about My Own Private Idaho. My favorite queer film of all time. It's great. Check that video out. Apparently Rob couldn't get River to really go there with the first few takes that they did, so he asked him to remember a time when an adult let him down, and this final product is what we got. Chris's next words are something a lot of children have said at some point in their lifetime.
I just wish that I could go someplace where nobody knows me. I guess I'm just a singer. Yeah.
Gordie wakes up before everybody else reading a gangbusters comic, and he sees a deer. When the freight train woke everybody up, it was on the tip of his tongue to tell them about the deer, but he kept it to himself, and he never spoken or written of it until now. We don't exactly know the significance of this. I believe the popular theory to be that throughout this entire movie, Gordie is always with these boys, like he's never by himself. And I think him seeing this deer was, to remind him that with all this chaos in the world, that there are things that can be beautiful. Maybe the deer was like, a sign from Denny or something. Some people say that they feel like past deceased ones show up in the forms of animals sometimes. Not that they are reincarnated into an animal, but you know what I'm saying. The sun is blazing and rising higher in the sky as Gordie admits that finding this dead kid's body was starting to become an obsession. They reached an area called the Royal, deciding if they should follow the tracks or cut across this massive field where they could get there in an hour. Charlie's bitch ass tells Ace he's gotta swear on his mother's good name before telling him about Ray Brower's body, and Billy does the same with Eyeball. Pathetic. By noon, Ace and Eyeball had told their secret to everybody in the gang, so much for protecting their mother's good name. When Ace loads up the car, these virgins are saying the gang should go without them, but Ace has a bunch of fishing gear, and if the cops ask them what they're doing there, that they can say that they were, we was just fishing, and look at what we found. Another gang member wants to be on every radio TV show in the country, blah blah, you know the deal. And Charlie says, I still don't think we should go. Ace is like, alright, you stated your position, now I'ma state mine.
Get in the f***ing car. Now!
Weak. Our boys are stumping through mud and realize they have to cross a pond of water. And when Vern asks how they're gonna get across it, Teddy says, we can use you as a raft. So this little pond is a man-made pool that the production had made in the woods, and they made it in June because they didn't want to put the boys in the water and they didn't know, what was in there. But the thing is, by the time they filmed this scene, it was August. So it was literally sitting in the woods for 3 months. Huh? So y'all still don't know what's in there. Chris snaps off a tree branch, feeling the shallow water, so it's not bad, right? Well, no. They walk a few feet and completely drop in. Vern hits the I told you so, and Teddy calls him a P-U-S-S-Y. And in the blink of an eye, again, they're all wrestling. But Gordie's not in the mood. They pile on top of him and Gordie sees something on Vern's neck.
Sweet.
All of them strip to their underwear, snatching off the leeches, and Gordie finds a leech inside his underwear, causing him to pass out. I always thought that these leeches were real, but they're not. This is all special effects. They were molded latex stuck on with rubber cement. It irritated their skin, and those red marks are made with red makeup. Will Wheaton recounted in a 2000 interview that the cement with the red coloring mixed into it to stimulate blood caused them to be denied admission to a hydro tube water slide after that day's filming because it looked like a contagious skin disease. After everybody's dry, Chris says he thinks they should take Gordie back. This ain't sitting right with Teddy Bear, and he calls Chris a punk. Vern backs up Chris, and when Teddy insults him for the final time, Vern tackles the four-eyed psycho to the ground, smacking him up until...
Stop it! I'm not going back.
Present day Gordie says at the time he doesn't know why he needed to see this kid's body so much, and even if no one followed him, he would have gone on alone. They reach the area where Ray's body is, start searching, and it's Vern who finds him. Chris orders Vern and Ted to get branches and build a stretcher as Gordie starts having an episode. He's saying, "Why did he have to die, Chris?" And though his best friend doesn't have the answers, Gordie starts saying it should have been him.
My dad said it, I'm no good. He just doesn't know you. He hates me, I'm no good.
Chris tells Gordie he's going to be a great writer someday, and he might even write about the four of them if he ever gets hard up on material. After Gordie starts collecting himself, we hear the voice of Ace off screen. Their little gang is here to claim the body, but Chris says we found him and we got dibs. We walked here and you guys drove in the car. Teddy said it's 4 of us and 2 of you, so what's up? But then Ace's groupies show up. Charlie and Bill start threatening Vern, so he steps back, and Ace says they have 2 choices: leave quietly and they take the body, or stay and get the shit beat out of them, then they take the body.
Why don't you go home and your mother some more?
Gangsta. Chris don't give a and he said y'all not taking him, straight up. So Ace pulls out his 3 inches, as if I won't kick him in the balls and hit him with this nasty uppercut. Ted runs back cause he's scared of 3 inches, and Eyeballs telling Ace, "Hey, chill out, man, chill out. Nah, shut your bitch ass up, cause you still ain't get my homie his hat back." As he inch closer, Chris says, "You're just gonna have to kill me, Ace."
No problem.
My niggas.
Okay, I know this is a serious moment, but this is a meme right here. There's another picture of Gordie holding the gun, and I used to have it as my profile picture for a while, sometime back in high school.
How could you not say cunt? Like, that's cunt. Like,
Ace tells Gordie to give him the gun before he shoots his foot off, because he doesn't have the sack to shoot a woodchuck. And Gordie raises that Glock saying,
I'll kill you, I swear to God.
"Why do we keep doubting people who have a loaded gun in their hands? Come on, kid, you must have at least some of your brother's good sense." Yeah, he would have got blasted right there. "Suck my fat one, you cheap dime store hood. What are you gonna do, shoot us all?"
Always, just you.
And so the blonde vampire holds out, promising they're gonna get the kids back for this, and they all exit. As soon as they turned around and walked away, I would have raised my gun up in the air and just to shake things up, get a little adrenaline going, see them run away. Chris turns to his best friend like, "Suck my fat one? Whoever told you had a fat one, LaChance? Biggest one in 4 counties. Gordie decides they're not taking the body, even though they came all these miles. This is not the way. They get a thick sheet and cover him up. In a present-day voiceover, Gord says that Ray's body was eventually found, but neither their gang nor Ace's gang got the credit, and in the end, they decided an anonymous phone call was the best thing to do. The boys head home, and although many thoughts raced through their minds, they barely spoke. They walked it through the night and made it back to Castle Rock a little past 5 o'clock on Sunday morning. They'd only been gone 2 days, yet the town seemed different, smaller. Vern says his goodbyes, departing off first, and sees a penny on the ground. Teddy says he's got to get home before his mom puts him on the 10 most wanted list, and briefly stops, spins, and says to Chris,
no hard feelings, okay?
No way, man.
And our BFFs are left alone. As time went on, Gordie and Chris both saw less and less of Teddy and Vern until eventually they became just 2 more faces in the halls. It happens sometimes. Friends come in and out of your life like busboys in a restaurant. Gordie heard that Vern got married out of high school, had 4 kids, and is now the forklift operator at the Arsenal Lumberyard. Teddy tried several times to get into the army, but his eyes and his ears kept him out. And last he heard, he had spent some time in jail and was doing odd jobs around Castle Rock. Gordie and Chris are hanging by the treehouse when Chris says, "I'm never gonna get out of this town, am I?" And Gordie's like, "You can do anything you want, man."
Right.
Then Christopher tells Gordon to give him some skin.
I'll see you. Not if I see you first.
Yes, I can.
Christopher did get out. it. He enrolled in the college classes with Gordie, and although it was hard, he thugged it out like he always do. And eventually, he became a lawyer. Last week in present day, Chris had entered a fast food restaurant, and ahead of him, two men got into an argument. One of them pulled a knife, and Chris, who had always been the peacemaker, tried to break it up. He was stabbed in the throat, and he died almost instantly. Cut to the final words of Gordie's novel. Although I hadn't seen him in more than 10 years, I know I'll miss him forever. Gordie's son in the blue and his son's friend come in his office asking if they can leave now, presumably to the pool, and Gordie tells them he'll be right there.
He said that a half hour ago.
Yeah, my dad's weird. He gets like that when he's writing.
This makes him laugh, and you can feel exactly why. The final words Gordie writes are, "I never had any friends later on like the ones I had when I was 12. Jesus. Does anyone? And as soon as he shuts off his computer, the film's main theme begins, Stand By Me by Benny King. And in the backyard, Gordie plays around with his son and his friend off to the pool. Yeah. 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 The magic of this beautifully sad and reflective adventure stems, I think, from how different these four boys are. Vern is the comic relief, the goofy friend because he's easy to laugh at. He's scared of everything, he feels the most, and on the surface, he is the most sensitive of them all. Teddy, the hothead, physically abused by his father yet idolizing and defending him, lashing out like a live wire, mouth of a sailor. His delusion is heavy armor. Chris, the most grounded, the oldest acting, the leader of the group, from a troubled family, not clean but moral, brilliant but doomed. He's the boy everyone underestimated, except Gordie, a tragic golden boy. And Gordie stands in the middle ground of everyone, an invisible boy in grief of his deceased brother, writing stories and using them as tools to process trauma and control his inner voice. The train track the boys follow is a liminal space, the line separating boyhood and manhood, and they all walk right on that line. I mean, think about what these boys, these 12-year-olds are doing. They're going to see the body of another kid their age. Can you imagine saying something like that? I mean, death is the last thing that should be on a 12-year-old's mind. Gordie is the most affected, and rightfully so. The neglect he feels from his parents, and specifically his father, manifests as self-hatred in a way, bringing him nightmares, having him wishing it was himself in the ground instead of his all-star brother who had something going for him. But so did Gordie. The only person who saw him, actually, was his best friend, Chris. The movie's title and coexistence with the song and its simple message is so immaculate. Life is so fucking hard, man, and having someone to lean on when you start slipping into the void can really make or break how you move forward. Absent love and abusive parents are all these kids know, and their friendship isn't just about comfort, it's survival. They're not just killing time, they're saving each other, in a way. Seeing the body of Ray Brower was the last traces of their childhood stripping away, reminding these boys that death is something we all have to face, bringing it back to boyhood and manhood, innocence and experience. I mean, what does it cost to cross those tracks? After director Rob Reiner screened the movie for Stephen King, he noticed King was visibly shaking and silent. He briefly left the room, and upon his return, he told Rob that the movie was the best adaptation of his work he had ever seen. And out of all the King films that I've seen, I am definitely inclined to agree. Stephen King has a habit of making damn near all of his protagonists writers and having that be the main character trait for them. But what I love about it here is that it's intertwined with this commentary about masculine expectations with every boy that is gonna deal with this in their childhood.
Do you play football?
No,
What do you do?
I don't know.
Gordie is not athletic, he's not aggressive, and his power is in observation and imagination. That's not what men are supposed to be, and his dad knows it. I think it's very ignorant to associate being sensitive, I'm talking about in the context of men, being sensitive is associated with being gay. And I know that, I know a lot of people think that way, but on the same token, you know, me being a 7, 8, 9-year-old boy and watching this and seeing how openly raw and emotionally articulate Chris and Gordie were with each other, how both of them cry in front of each other, I don't know, there was something soft about it. I always thought there was something potentially there. The little look they gave each other after racing, how Gordie is never, and I mean never, hesitant to open up to Chris, but specifically Chris, like a safety net. I ached and yearned for a male friendship like that. The way Gordie narrates when talking about Chris can be read in a way that has dabs of romance in it, like an intense longing or mourning of just not the friendship, but maybe a version of himself that he couldn't explore. Now, I'm not saying that's what's going on, I'm saying that's a way that the film can be read. Chris cries and instantly apologizes. Teddy's entire identity is rage and denial. Gordie's nightmare of his dad saying he should have died instead. I mean, boys are taught to suppress, to hide, just like queer kids do. The train isn't the only thing that they're dodging. And while I'm on it, the train scene, which comes like smack dead in the middle of the movie, they have to cross a bridge to continue their journey. They had the option to go through a longer, much more time-consuming route, but the bridge was a trial, a risk, a challenge. Could this be seen as a metaphor for growing up? Absolutely. Time and pressure. That train does not care who's on the tracks. You either run or get crushed. Keep moving or watch your entire world crumble. If you want to be more dramatic, you can even go to the leech scene, the blood sucking, the boys stripping down, vulnerability, the leech in the underwear.
Oh shit, Chris.
That could be puberty. Then Gordie holding the gun at the end. It kind of comes off like false power. No? He thinks holding it makes him brave, holding it makes him a man, but it's Gordie's words that give him real control in the end.
I'll kill you, I swear to God.
You must have at least some of your brother's good sense.
Suck knife that one, you cheap dime store hood.
Like I said, I read the novel a few years ago, and it is, I mean, I would say 90% of it, maybe even 95% of it is word for word. You're basically, you're literally reading the movie. The outcome of what happens to half of the boys is changed in the movie though. Chris is the only one to have died in the film, but in the novel, it's revealed that Teddy is in a drunk driving car crash and Vern's in a house fire. I don't exactly know why they made that decision, but honestly, you can kind of take a guess. Like if all three of them died, this would be a very depressing movie. But more than that, I think that Chris being the only one to pass away and the impact that he had on Gordie, that emotional punch just hits 10 times harder. Gordie's ending bittersweet monologue is so memorable about, you know, the way that friends come in and out of your life like busboys in a restaurant, and how he never had friends like the one he had when he was 12. It's so good. You make friends in school, and as you get older, you think that you're gonna spend the rest of your lives being close, you're gonna live next to each other, be in the same city, but life just like kicks both of you in the ass and it pushes you away. That's the cycle. The hardest thing about being a boy is that you're handed a mask at birth and told, don't take this off. You're taught early that feelings are landmines and that needing love makes you weak. You're expected to be strong without knowing what that even means. Be stoic, be silent, be unshakable, even when the world is falling apart inside your chest. No one tells you how to cry without shame, or how to say I'm scared or I don't know who I am yet. And if you dare step outside the script, if you're too flamboyant, if you're too tender, if you're too different, if you're too emotional, people don't just flinch, they punish. No one stays a kid forever. The summers end, the friends fade, the tracks go on without you, and you spend your life trying to remember how it felt to be seen like that and to be loved without needing to earn it. And when you write it all down, literally or mentally, it's not to bring these people and these memories back, but it's to remind yourself that they were real. What are some of your memories, your favorite scenes, favorite lines of dialogue from Stand By Me? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, give me a like, it helps me out a lot. And if you're new here, consider subscribing. I would love to have you. You can even turn on that bell notification so you don't miss a new video. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. In the meantime, take care of your mind, take care of your body, and take care of your spirit.